National Unity Platform supporters there ending that report as carried yesterday following the controversial and hotly contested, giving out of cards to the cadres ahead of the general election. Now, as any political institution would find itself in, do you reward loyalty or do you go for political expedience? Right now, what the National Unity Platform is facing could be something that could define its own political shape ahead of the 2026 general elections, the much coveted cards. With me in the studio is Paul Mugambe, the mayor for Nakawa Division. I also have with me Marion Kirabo. She's the one that secured the NUP card for Makerere University. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm grateful.
Okay.
I'm happy.
All right. We'll be finding out exactly why you are as happy as you are. Mr. Paul Mugambe,
yes.
You don't seem happy.
Why?
You don't seem happy. I'm told you didn't get the ticket for Nakawa and you were somebody was elected ahead of you, and that's Nubian Lee. First and foremost, and let us understand why Nubian Lee beat you to the card. Were you told about it?
Thank you very much. Good morning, our listeners and viewers. My name is Paul Mugambe, the current mayor of Nakawa. It is true I expressed my interest to retain the party ticket because as an incumbent I've been the flag bearer till last Friday when the list came out, and it appeared that my colleague with whom we are in the race, that is Comrade Nubian Lee, was given the ticket. However, getting a ticket is really not a do or die for me.
As an individual? As
an individual. To the extent that I'm not really even now fighting to get the card. That's, for me, like a closed chapter for the card. I know it was given out. However, as a person who's concerned about the party and its future, it's important to not only to say so and so got the card, but the how part of it is very important.
The how.
The how. Where is it taking us? Is it making the party stronger or weaker? Then what will be the results after that? Because you see in Parliament, for instance, we have more than 100 independent members of Parliament.
Yeah, that's right.
And most of these stood in primaries of their
various
respective parties. But they went ahead and won. Having more than 100 independent MPs is a whooping number. It's really big.
Yeah.
And in most of the cases when you see someone who has not got a party ticket and then winning an election
in the election
itself, it shows that the results of the primaries that may be brought up about a different candidate were not in tandem
with what is on the ground.
With what is on the ground. Maybe the process was not good, maybe it was abused, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't end at not getting the card, but also all giving it unfairly. But the outcome is very important, because when a party has many people that emerge as winners, candidates, it gives strength to the party.
That is right.
And on the contrary, when the party loses many of its candidates, it makes the party weaker. That's why it's important that the vetting process, or the process that is to the award of cards and so on and so forth, as you may call them, is really transparent, unbiased, and brings out the right candidate who is expected by even the people on the ground. So in my case, I'm concerned that the person that I stood with, as from the word go, it appeared that he had an edge, or a bigger edge over me, given his status in the party, to the extent that for him he was already bragging that he is the card himself. But also anyone who did side with him or showed support for him and needed a card will not definitely get a card. That was his message and his team.
Okay.
And then what is shocking is that exactly what his camp was saying is what happened.
Is what happened.
Whoever was with him, at least those who got the cards were with him, and those who are not with him, none of them got the card.
We shall delve into that, what appears to be a deeper way of doing things within the National Unity Platform that might need a little bit more scrutiny. But allow me to come to Marion Kirabo. Marion Kirabo, before the search or the dash for the card happened, we've interacted severally, especially as we try to make our way around the body politic in the country. But since you've already secured this particular card for Makerere University, that is councillor position in the general election next year, I think the congratulations have already come through. But what I want to understand, and I hope you can look at it, you can step out of the frame of the National Unity Platform and talk about the vetting and seeming selection when it comes to handing down these cards to the various party members. He has spoken about something that is very pertinent. Somebody could actually stand as an independent in the general election and beat the one who got the card or who is the flag bearer for the party. That also represents a certain reality that could have been missed, especially either in the primaries or in the vetting process. I do not know what we are what we might face in January, but bring us up to speed with the thinking behind the vetting and or selection.
I think for starters, for everyone who subjected themselves to this process, at least they had an idea of how it went, because this is not the first time that that the National Unity Platform is having such type of process.
Okay. In
2021, we did have the same process. So it is not new. There is nothing sinister about it. And the party gave its reasons for doing it this way. And some of the reasons were because of the political landscape under which it operates. The fact that even for, let me say, opening up its headquarters in Iganga, that it has to do it silently, because it is at fear that every time it has any kind of function, any kind of event, the high chances that the military or the state interferes and disorganizes. We are in a situation where most of our mobilizers and our political players are behind bars. You have seen the violence even in their own state processes, in the NRM primaries, how it was. So the nature of the landscape is so hostile that we also have to operate in unconventional ways in order to have control, at least even when we do not have control over, let me say, other areas where the state has more monopoly. At least in our processes, the party is trying to safeguard, to make sure that at least the processes within the party run smoothly as they should run, and that at the end of the process we get credible candidates who are not only loyal to the party but also loyal to the people. We have seen a number of times, like for example, you're not new to the controversies that some of our leaders have actually sold out, or some of them have been involved in corruption scandals. So the party is trying to protect itself, its reputation, because the will of the people depends on its reputation and its values, the confidence that the party inspires in the people. And that is something, that is the only currency we have. That whereas NRM has the currency of violence and maybe state resources, money and all that, the currency that we have is the confidence that the people have in us to deliver a credible leadership, and therefore we fight to protect that. When it comes to whether or not someone can stand independent and actually beat you, I would say that the card is not an end in itself. It is part of the process. That even when I have the card, I have to make sure that I am on ground looking for votes, convincing people to buy into my message, into what I stand for, and into the party. So us getting cards is not, we have not won the election yet. There's a general election in January, whereby we have to be boots on ground and look for these votes. If a person thinks that just because they have gotten the card, they can relax, they will be beaten. They will certainly be beaten in the general election. So that an independent standing against a flag bearer, it can be for different reasons, that the flag bearer perhaps took a back seat and was like, you know, I have the card and nothing.
Since I have the card,
yes,
it's a foregone conclusion.
Yes, but also the thing that I would like to put across, that at the end of the day, even if it was a primary, even if it was a vetting process, there has to be one person that emerges the winner, because the slot is one. The slot for LC5 woman councillor Makerere is one slot.
That's right.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, actually fortunately for NUP, but which also becomes problematic, is that we had thousands and thousands of candidates applying. So the party was actually spoilt for choice. Because one person was chosen does not mean that the rest, the party has rejected the rest, or that the rest were not good enough. No, it is that they had to put their best soldiers forward. And those are the people that they felt could best represent their values or interests, but also perhaps best win the elections, the upcoming elections. So it should not be an indictment to say that, for you, we don't want you. No, it's that let us put this person forward and let us all gather around to make sure that this person wins. So, but also I would also say that just because you haven't gotten the card, a political party is more than the political position. It's like we, of course, one of the things is to front candidates, but also to gather around a certain political agenda or certain political values. Yeah,
it's perfectly understandable, especially from the media point of view, since we do coverage of these processes. There is what appears to be NUP's consensus that what we need right now is the ability to dislodge the governing party or any other opposition party from these positions, and then increase our numbers at legislative level, and then we can think about changing government from that point of view. Now, that is a goal or objective that might not be fully understood by everybody, and this is where I come in to ask, is the National Unity Platform grappling with the weight of its own success? For example, you have loyal members who began with the first batch of founders, so to speak, who see themselves as perhaps up for being rewarded for being loyal. Now, they might not be necessarily popular, and that presents a totally different scenario. You might agree, the way you speak, Mr. Mugambe, that the party's overall objective is greater than any one person's ambition. But the realities usually change, especially as we run into the election time, that is, election time. How can NUP avoid the pitfalls of its own political success, so to say?
Thank you very much. You know, there's a saying that it is more difficult, for instance, if you've been a poor man and you become rich, okay, it's more difficult to maintain the wealth than actually getting wealthy, you know. So it is true, the success that our party, the National Unity Platform, has realized, has registered in the recent past, is good, but also comes with the challenges. However, how we manage these challenges is quite important. In the first place, you should ask yourself, what were some of the reasons that made NUP strong, or where it is? Because then when we started, we were totally intolerant to things like biasness. We are looking at merit and following the path that we agree on. For instance, in this vetting, the yardsticks were mainly two. One is the ground, which has a contribution of 60%.
60%.
Then we have vetting, which has 40%. Now, if that is the yardstick and you want to really remain strong, stick to the yardstick. Move as per the yardstick. Otherwise, if you say this and do otherwise, definitely we are headed for problems, because we have scenarios where really when you get to the ground, it totally speaks a different language.
Now tell us in a little bit more detail what the word "the ground" means to NUP. How did they gauge that on ground Mr. Nubian Lee holds more ground than Mr. Mugambe?
what we call the ground in the National Unity Platform. For instance, if you went to Nakawa today and do a random sampling, either in the market or in borders or in a trading center, and say Paul Mugambe and the person is competing with, whom are you, whom do you think, whom would you vote for in case we presented either of them as mayors? Then maybe out of 10, someone will get 7 and another one will get 3. Then the person with 7 will be more popular. That carries 60%.
Is this based on sample spaces or a comprehensive coverage of the ground?
It may not be comprehensive. You do random sampling. We call it random sampling. You go to this area, you go to the other area, you go to the other area, and pick up the samples. Because statistically, when you do sampling, sometimes it's an indication of the bigger picture. So this one carries 60%, of which me as a person in Nakawa,
you scored
all radio stations, NTV, and other people interested have been on the ground.
You
and
scored
have been leading
higher than Nubian Lee.
Higher than, even if
on
you
the 60%,
and not just scoring higher, by even more than 50%.
More than 50%.
You can even do yourself your own. Maybe today after a show, you can go on the ground, to the extent that from Friday, when the news came in that Mr. I did not get in the card, the situation in Nakawa is not good.
People
are not happy. People feel, I mean, they are not happy, feel that is not what...
Do they know, and have you spoken to the electorate or the people you claim to be your people? Have you told to them or talked to them about the 40% voting that you could have maybe failed miserably?
Not at all. It's also, as I've told you, on the ground, all indications are that are more than 50%. Then in the vetting, still, I got about 3 or 4 questions.
How many questions were they in total?
About 3 or 4, and of which
only 4 questions.
3 or 4 questions
were asked. What were these questions?
It will not be maybe something like party ideology, which I know very well. What is your leadership experience, things like that. And then what else?
Yes, structures of the party.
No, I was not asking the structures. Basically ideology. What's been your performance on the ground, and so on and so forth.
So the EMC, this is the election.
But as per my my intelligence information, actually shows that in the vetting, I'm yet to be disproved. I did not just get, maybe it's carries 40. I got 40 out of 40. 40
out of 40.
I'm a fairly gifted person.
Since we are on national television, and maybe have the statistics of the 40-60 phased assessment as described by the Election Management Committee been published?
No, not that I know of. So I wouldn't know where he gets the scores from.
I said, as per my intelligence.
Your intelligence.
Yes, so that's, but now
is it prudent
as propaganda?
Is it prudent that at a certain point these statistics be published for maybe people to agree that those particular questions were either answered correctly or not, and then to also know that the sampling that was done on ground, this is what it brought about.
That is what it brought. That's really.
Or that is something that
I think for purposes of reducing what you've seen on TV, people saying I was treated unfairly, was supposed to be the winner. It is prudent that you were given information that this is how you performed on the ground. I remember in the case of the Nalu callers, it was done. So Nakola, got this on ground and got this in vetting. And
maybe because it was a single constituency. Maybe it was a single constituency. But the logistical issues were
necessary. But it did end there. We have had, actually I'm calling upon our president, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, not to take these voices that coming up lightly, because that's how it all begins. Slowly by slowly, the cancer eats the party, and before you know, the party is no more. Because we have had very strong parties, the Democratic Party, the UPC, and so on. But sometimes we neglect these pointers, these voices that come out. For instance, in Nakawa, there is I will give you about 2 scenarios out of the many.
Very quickly.
There is a place, there is a zone 11, zone 12. There are people who are NUP, who have been in the area. They also applied. There's even an incumbent councillor. Someone came from Makinde. Of course, he had connived with some people. He was advised to get a single room in that place in 1 week, and in 1 week that person emerged as the winner. I think that's glaring and it needs attention. Then only two examples. There is a councillor who performed the worst in the whole of Nakawa. He even is known the whole of Kampala, even in schools in Nakawa. When you ask children, like we used to ask that, who discovered River Nile, and then they will all come up and say it was Peak. In the same case with Nakawa, if you ask who has been the worst performing councillor, every child will rise up. That councillor got a card. And to make matters worse, he doesn't stay in Nakawa, and he was just imposed on certain voters. So those are issues that I'm saying in good spirit. I'm not fighting for the card, by the way. I'm not fighting.
No, what I realize is that it is something that
don't give me the card.
Maybe demonstrates
I'm raising issues,
political maturity on his part.
I'm not fighting for the card.
The fact that he has not gone very confrontational for now, I must be very particular.
Have you noted this? As a person, I'm not fighting for the card.
As we go along,
let's close the case.
As we go along, what is the way forward?
Exactly.
Because that matters a lot. But before we answer that particular question, very quickly, Marion, the democratic test is now for the National Unity Platform. You cannot preach what you do not practice. The party leaders have spoken about their inability to conduct primaries as naturally and as in a healthy way that any other party would. For example, like the NRM did. They cite logistical aspects, they cite state prosecution and coercion attacks as one of the issues. But that should not negate the chance to entrench democracy when cases like these come up.
Well, I think the party has not ignored. There was an appeals process for whoever was aggrieved. But like I stated before, that in every process, there can only be one winner. Yes, and yes, there can only be one person. Because clearly, if perhaps His Worship here had not gotten the card, and had gotten the card, and maybe Nubian had not gotten it, perhaps Nubian would be aggrieved. But I think for the thing is that tensions are still high. Naturally, that when we come out of the process, and it's the human nature to feel like we have been rejected, we have been pushed away, we have been cast out. But one thing that the party has done is to create an appeals process so that we can hear, so that they can hear all these grievances and where there are errors that they made, because to error is human. And I'm not saying, no process is ever perfect. So that process has been there for people to present their petitions, and the list came out yesterday. For me, the thing would be that as a party, I think, especially for us who have gone through, it is upon us to reach out to, just out of maturity, to reach out to our fellow members who have not been given the card, to see how we can sit down. Because right now they are grieving, and understandably so. Some feel like they have sacrificed a lot for the party. They have been there since day one. But the thing is to tell them that you're still part of this family. We have a bigger goal, and that is to remove this dictatorship and usher in that new Uganda that we want to have. So let us join hands together. It will take time to get there. But one of the democratic processes that they put was that appeal system. And as the party goes on, I'm very sure they'll have more and more engagements with these people, telling them, yes, you still have a role to play in this struggle. Let us support the few people that we have put forward, but that will take time. I'm hoping that, but I think it's only possible if we achieve that major goal. We cannot have true democracy under this militarized government. So either way, we will still have those loopholes, because the nature of our politics does not allow us to enjoy that full democracy that we want. Whether it is, I think you saw the primary system, how it went in NRM. Gunshots, people shooting themselves down, money splashing. I think you also saw their elections the way they want. So in the nature of our political landscape cannot allow true democracy to thrive, and that is why we're using these unconventional methods to actually get that credible leadership that we need to achieve our goal. So even within that unconventional ways, there would be certain perhaps loopholes, but we are trying the best we can to make sure we address that. So I'm sure that the party has a strategy, and they will be unveiling it soon. Okay, so we're told there is a conflict resolution committee. We saw a tribunal established for the national resistance movement that find out some of the contestations. We hope that this particular committee can also rectify that and see exactly how things iron out. Very last word, what's the way forward for you? If you do not, you haven't really thought about independent, no, or right now you're behind the party? And
thank you very much. First of all, I would like to emphasize that I'm a member of the National Unity Platform, and that's why really I'm concerned about these issues that are coming up that are likely to inflict some damage on our party.
Do you throw your full weight behind the party on the decisions that have been taken?
Well, as I've expressed my my dissatisfaction, especially with me, that I'm really not satisfied, because from the word go it appeared the person I was contesting with was more favored.
Okay, so in other words, you're waiting on the conflict resolution committee.
I'm still
have you petitioned?
Doing a lot of consultation. I have not petitioned because you know the reasons. Have not.
Your worship, Paul Mugambe, Mayor for Nakawa Division, many thanks for talking to us and
just
sharing.
Just one, with your permission.
Okay.
As part of what I've talked about, that I'm still listening to the voices of the people, their advices and so on and so forth. Today I've invited my people in Nakawa Division in my home at 10 to first of all officially communicate them what went on, and then I hear from them. Thereafter I will come up with a position.
People of Nakawa, supporters of Paul Mugambe, please advise Paul Mugambe to throw his weight behind the party.
Yes.
The National Unity
We need
Platform.
him in the party.
Many thanks, Marion Kirabo, for making time and of course offering us that very insightful perspective on how the party will move forward in light of what has become a very controversial tactic in dislodging the national resistance movement. Loyalty or political expedience? Those questions will continue to rear the ugly heads. Whether the answers will be found as soon as possible also remains to be seen. MorningAtNTV does continue. We shall be bringing you perspective on these matters or